What's up, everyone? That would be nice. Thank you. All right, let's see how we got here. We ready to go? All right, let's say hello to the people in the chat and get on quickly with it. Pardon me, one moment. Okay, so hello to Scott Perkins. Hello, Scott. Hello, Precascent. All right, hello, Fort Pitts. And Shibby. Hello, Shibby. And Don Steele. What up, Don Steele? Sabina. Hello, Sabina B. Everyone says hello to you. I say ACV. Hello, ACV. Bobby Smith. Hello to you. Hello, Bobby. Anna Paula Baxter. Hello. Okay. Nancy Drew 101. Hello, Nancy Drew. All right, we're good to go. Chartreuse Cat. Welcome in, Chartreuse Cat. Good to see you. All right. Sweet Dude says, giddy up, young prof. Perhaps I need some more water or coffee or both. I don't know. We will not waste any time today. I plan to be quick. I wasn't going to come on. Honestly, wasn't going to come on tonight because, when a new earth-shattering document drops, you have everyone and their mother come on and do a show about it. And ad nauseum. So I figured I wasn't going to come on, and then I got to thinking about it, and I thought, let me come on because there's some things I can add beyond just looking at the document. There's some things that we can talk about as a group. It's why I titled this "The More Facts Come, the More We Are Right," and throwback, because I think what you're seeing now is an implosion of a artificial timeline regarding the Delphi murder scenario, uh, the patented, copyrighted, trademarked, and uh, I don't know any other way of ownership. The fantasy world fairy tale uh, approved narrative. So here we go. Here we go. We're gonna destroy that shit because one thing's for certain: we are being proved right more and more. And I think as we get into it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Welcome in, digital. Welcome in, digital. All right. Hey, welcome in, Aaron. Aaron. Yeah. So what we've been saying is that these bodies were moved from the shack to the dump site after everyone was sent home around midnight. So we're talking approximately. We know that there was a scream heard approximately between 2 and 2:30 a.m. There was a lot of rumble and tumble of a rumor mill. Uh, and I also found it kind of fascinating with the 2:13 time, if considering that could be PM, AM. Uh, if they're playing mind games, if they were playing mind games in the establishing of these talking points, like 2:13 on 2:13, et cetera, on 2:14, 2:13 on 2:14, et cetera, et cetera. And so, are we talking about AM? Um, and so my general hypothesis has always been that we're talking about from the 2 a.m. time frame on the 14th to the sunrise time frame on the 14th. So I would put that around, who knows, I haven't checked the statistics, but around 5. So I've always thought between 2 and 5 is when these bodies were moved down that creek, possibly, or possibly in a vehicle, and dumped and staged where they lay. So this document today, I got to say, victory smells sweet. Sweet. Victory smells pretty sweet because it's just it's confirming that these suspicions may be somewhat correct, and I'll explain why. And it's another nail in the coffin for the artificial fantasy world, make believe, gaslighting, fairy tale timeline. And so let's quickly look at it. I'm not going to bore you with reading through this document because we don't have time for that. This will not be a 3-hour stream. I'm not going to bore you with that, but we'll go ahead and jump into the vicinity of where this is actually starts to be talked about, and I'll explain to you why and what I think these times that are given is all about. So, yeah, here we go. Let's look into it. All right, so let's start here. The prosecution's entire case rests on the idea that Liberty German and Abigail Williams were on or near the south side of the Monon High Bridge at 2:13 p.m. and that Richard Allen killed them between that time and when a witness allegedly saw a man in blue jeans and a blue jacket, but we know it was tan. on 300 North, shortly before 3:57 p.m. In other words, assuming the prosecution's evidence is accurate, Liberty German and Abigail Williams were murdered after 2:13 p.m. And remember this, they want you to believe that that fucking questionable Snapchat that has multiple layers of questionability, including who took it, why would someone screenshot it, can you trust that person, can you trust the approximate time that's given, can you trust the fact that it's actually a real thing and not a Photoshop construction, a whole litany of layers of questionability regarding that. But anyhow, additionally, assuming this timeline is accurate, which it is not, the prosecution would have the girls between the Mona High Bridge and location where the bodies were found from 2:13 p.m. Okay, now this is where you pay attention. So they would have you believe that from 2:13 p.m. until they were found at 12:15. Okay, so you get what the contention here is. So the fantasy world narrative wants you to believe that between 2:13 p.m. and 12:15 p.m. the next day, these girls are only between the south end of the High Bridge and Ron Logan's property. Never happened, never will, never possible. They weren't there when Eric Williams searched the area. At the time when the bodies of Abigail Williams and Liberty German were found, Liberty's phone was under Liberty's shoe, both of which were under the body of Abigail Williams. So that you understand, you have the ground, you have a shoe. No, I'm so much. You have the ground, you have the phone, you have a shoe, and you have the girl's body, and you have the sticks. Assuming the prosecution's timeline is accurate, and it's not, Liberty German's phone was under Liberty German's shoe, which was under the body of Abigail Williams, which was under the sticks placed on top of her, from some time after 2:13 p.m. on the 13th of February 2017 until the bodies were found at approximately 12:15 p.m. on February 14 the next day, and had remained at that location for the entire time. However, Sergeant Blocher stated that on February 13, 2017, that the cell phone was no longer in the area or no longer in a working condition. There's no way that Liberty German's cell phone could have been out of the area between 9 p.m. on February 13th, 2017 and 1 a.m. on February 14th if the prosecution's timeline is accurate, because the phone was at the location where the bodies were found the entire time. Right, so what they're getting at here, what they're hammering on is this. If you're going to believe that Richard Allen followed those girls off the bridge or directed them off of the bridge, then you're going to believe that he walked them across the creek, killed them, left them there, then that phone should have never left that exact spot. Simple, isn't it? Simple. Just to elaborate a little, let me paint a picture hypothetically for you what would have happened here. So what you were expected to believe is the following type of sequence of events occurred. One, that Liberty German was photographing herself in a selfie type of mode, shortly after photographing Abby and an empty bridge. So after photographing several photographs, you were expected to believe that she put the phone into selfie mode, clicked record, placed it up like this to film Richard Allen approaching her or some other mysterious bridge guy from behind. You're then supposed to believe that while she recorded, this individual came up with a gun pointed, say, guys down the hill. She leaves the phone on. They proceed down the hill, which it's 2 hills. One of them, you will certainly fall onto your ass getting down that hill. If you haven't seen anyone do it, you should try it. Then you're expected to believe after getting up from sliding down the hill on their asses, while the guy is sliding down the hill on his ass with the gun, they reach the bottom, take off running, possibly not, but he's in pursuit with a weapon. She still has the phone, makes it through the creek, which was at its flood stage or a very high stage. Makes it through the creek without that phone getting wet at all, or at least to the extent that the phone continues its functionality, so it's not wet so that it stops. She gets out of the other side of that creek, which is rather steep. It's very difficult to do. If you haven't seen anyone try it, you should try to see that. They get out of that creek somehow without getting the phone wet while it's muddy, high level, wet, slippery. They come up off that other side of that creek in this fantasy world narrative. Phone survives that. Phone is not dropped. Okay. Then they make it onto dry ground, at which point, somehow magically, the 2 girls are still there together, along with the guy. In this hypothetical scenario, it's Richard Allen. Still has his gun, which also has possibly not gotten wet. He's able to get up off of that bank as well. Then they somehow end up in a scenario where he takes a long ass time to kill them one at a time, then perform at least 100 separate actions to disrobe them, position their bodies in the positions that they are in, re-robe one of the girls in the other one's clothes, allegedly, even though the clothes don't match what she had on the prior day. Then you're expected to believe that he somehow manages, after the posing, to place sticks that have a resemblance to runic figures. Then you're expected to believe that he somehow washes the blood off of himself, such that he's not bloody because he is only muddy if he's the one that's seen. But obviously he brings another colored jacket, because if he's supposed to be that person that's seen, that person is wearing a tan colored jacket. So somehow he has a second jacket, and he takes off the blue one, holds it under one arm, and it somehow managed to not be bloody. He puts on the tan jacket. Okay, so he's a little muddy now, I guess, from climbing up the bank. And he then manages somehow to make it out of those woods on Ron Logan's property. Somehow he avoids the Harvest Store surveillance camera that's above the front of the building. And all the while carrying this, but happens to be seen by a witness, right? Allegedly. Even though the witness does not describe him or the clothing he's wearing, and also does not use the word bloody in her description. And then he somehow makes it all the way back around to his car, and he gets on out of there. Okay, so I know that was a long aside. I wanted to paint the picture for you of what you're expected to believe happened. And here's why, because I'm going to continue here. Assuming the prosecution timeline is accurate, there's no way that the phone was not in working condition between 9 p.m. on February 13th and 1 a.m. on February 14th, because we know the phone was on and communicating with the cell phone tower at 4:33 a.m. and on February 14th, 2017. For the prosecution's timeline to work, the phone had to have been in the same condition from sometime prior to 3:57 p.m. on February 13, the time the witness sees the man on 300 North, until the time the bodies are found on February 14th, 2017 at 12:15. At the time of the search warrant for Mr. Allen's residence, members of the Indiana State Police were aware that the last ping of Liberty's phone was not at 5:44:49 p.m. on February 13th, but at 4:33:35 a.m. on February 14th. Furthermore, it's evident from the data on the phone that the phone was accessed and connected with the cell phone tower at 4:33 a.m. And here is where the sweet smell of victory starts to come in. Now, had Tony Liggett submitted an affidavit for a search warrant that did not recklessly disregard the truth, it would have included the following. These are important, okay? A, when the bodies were found at approximately 12:17 on February 14th, 2017, which we know they were found way prior to that. There were sticks and branches which appeared to have been deliberately placed on the bodies. Like this. And this. FBI Special Agent Nicole Robertson stated that the bodies appeared to be moved and staged. And I've shown you before how they were staged. She included the word moved in that statement. Moved and staged. At the time of the murders, Abigail Williams was dating Logan Holder, himself a Masonic brother, just like Brad Holder, Nicholas McClellan, among others. Logan is the son of Brad Holder. Jerry Holman of the ISP consulted with Professor Jeffrey Turco of Purdue University. Purdue University Professor Jeffrey Turco wrote in a report provided to Unified Command that the markings, again, this, and this, constitute an inscription inspired by Norse runes, or an imitation of Norse runes. It's plausible. We know Brad Holder belonged to a group practicing and following Nordic pagan beliefs. So did Patrick Westphal. So did others. Abigail Williams and Liberty were killed after 2:13 p.m. and before 3:57 p.m. on February 13, allegedly. Okay, this is the timeline you're expected to believe, that they are killed after 2:13, but prior to 3:57 p.m. That's a short window of time. During that time, this is item J. During that time, there were 3 phones in the area. That means more than one person. And the location where the bodies were found, according to geofence data, none of these phones belonged to Richard Allen, allegedly. On February 13th and 14th, law enforcement requested AT&T ping Liberty German's phone every 15 minutes. The time of the last ping to Liberty German's phone on February 13th was 5:44. Okay. Here's where there's a wake-up call. 5:44, phone's turned off, or shortly in that, within 15 minutes. Okay? So say within 15 minutes of 5:44, phone's turned off. First ping on February 14th was at 4:33. That means approximately 4:30 or so. 4:30 a.m., possibly 15 minutes prior, possibly 15 minutes prior, possibly 10 minutes prior, possibly 5 minutes prior, possibly 1 minute prior, possibly 30 seconds prior, but approximately 4:33 a.m. So let's recap that. So here's what happened. 5:44 p.m., the phone's turned off with a 15-minute window either side. 4:33 a.m., the phone's turned on the next morning. So what does this mean? This means the killers of Abigail Williams and Liberty German took the phone of Liberty German, powered it off, and possibly took the battery out at 5:44 p.m. on the 13th. This means that the killers took the phone of Liberty German, turned it back on at 4:33 a.m. on February 14th. Oh, no battery out on the 6S. Okay. Okay, so what do I mean? What do I mean about this? About the more facts come, the more we are right. Well, I'll tell you exactly what I mean. I'll tell you exactly what I mean. Because I have said for a year that after the 2 a.m. time frame on February 14th, okay, so this is very important. Approximately 2 a.m. to sunrise on February 14th, so you would say, let's roughly say 2 to 5 a.m. on February 14th, these girls were moved to the location where they were staged, and they were left there. Okay? Clearly, that phone was meant to be found by police. Okay, clearly. Why else would a killer or killers? Why else? You have to really use your most basic reasoning here. Why else would a killer or killers take a phone, put it on the ground, take a shoe and place over a phone, lay the victim over that, and then place these sticks over that victim? If they did not mean that phone to be found. What it tells me is that there was some reason, some necessity, some logic in the killer's mind about why they would turn that phone on at 4:30 a.m., which we have always believed those girls were placed in that spot approximately that time. I've always believed that between 2:30 a.m., if you want to know my personal belief was always between 2:30 a.m. and 5:30 a.m. everything was done. They had placed those girls there. They had done whatever they wanted to do. They turned that phone back on and got the hell out of Dodge. Here's where I believe they were killed. This is what I call the shack. Although technically I would call it the hut. Okay, this is the hut. I call it the shack. I believe that this is a reconstruction or a photo shoot by law enforcement. I believe that at the time of the murders, this shack was covered by a tarp. Okay, so you had a tarp. What is a tarp? Everyone knows what a tarp is. Tarps can be blue, tarps can be brown, tarps can be other colors. So let's say you had some sticks and tarp covering the top of this thing here. Let's say you had some more of a structure to the walls of this thing, okay? Now I want you to notice something. Look at this photograph. You'll notice there's a pallet with some chains, okay? You may notice something that looks like a bucket. Let's take a closer look. Take a closer look at this. We have a close-up of the pallet and the chains, along with what has been referred to me as an ice pick, referred to, but it's sort of a pick. I think that's actually something more like I don't know, a hot dog roaster or something. Who knows what that is, but I call it an ice pick. That's what's circled in the yellow. Okay. Now, I want you to notice something else. Let's go back to this photo. Let's go to another one. Okay. Notice what kind of cord that is that bone is hanging from. Is that a bungee cord, a parachute cord, whatever you want to call it? Huh? Okay. Bones hanging from trees, from parachute cord, bungee cord, whatever you want to call that. I want you to take a even closer look and squint your eyes. Squint your eyes, as the kid would say. Okay. Squinch those eyes. I want you to look real close at what you're seeing. Okay. Now, you'll see there's another bone hanging. If you look closely, there's another bone hanging from that tree or from some trees. If you look even further, you'll see some blow-off jugs. You'll see a bucket. Okay, and we're going to zoom in for you. Let's zoom in for you. Is this my zoom in? Okay, I want you to look at something called a meth making operation. Okay, what you got here is a bucket. That's not rope. You don't got rope. You got tubing. That's tubing for the meth making operation. Lots of people confuse that with rope. Rope is not tubing. Rope is not tubing. Those are blow-off jugs. Those jugs are used as blow-off jugs. Okay, this is a one-pot method operation. Okay. Got another angle. Okay, another bone. This time wedged onto the tree. Okay, wedged onto the tree. Got a bone wedged onto the tree, some type of vertebrae, something like there. Okay, now notice, okay, I'm going to get you guys to really notice this. Look at this photo shoot here. Look how perfectly this is done. Notice that bone, that vertebrae right there is perfectly centered as a focal point for this photo. And notice above it, the two trees perfectly frame the meth making operation shack hut, okay? And if you look really closely, that bucket is placed to be visible in this photograph. Okay? Okay, now so in this setup here, if you look really closely at the top of the photo, you're going to see the hut, you're going to see the pallet on the right, you're going to see the bucket on the left, which is a highway orange, okay? And notice the beautiful composition of this photo here. Okay, now let's go back to this one. Okay. And let's see. Now look at the trees very carefully. Look at those trees. Okay, pay attention to the trees. Now I'm going to show you a tree from the crime scene. Okay. Remember, my allegation is that this is near Wilson Bridge. My hypothesis. This is your F tree. This is your famous F tree drawn in the blood of Liberty German. Okay. So let me just bring you through a little slideshow. What I'll do, I would like to do this because I want to make this an experience for you that is somewhat difficult to relate with words. So what I'm going to do for about 1 minute, I'm going to give you a little flip through these because I want you to take in a few things that I can't really describe to you. So let me go ahead and get my ass off the screen. Okay, welcome back, everyone, or should I say, welcome back to me. I guess I am back. Um, so let me do a little reading for you while I pull this up. Let's see. Okay, so oh, just one second. I'll get to it. All right, let's see. Here we go. All right, let's see. Um, I'll read it first. You can stir in that plastic bucket. When you say pot, that implies a metal container, which is not used in stirring. Those 2 liter bottles are blow off jugs. Mix salt with liquid fire or clobber. Never seen anyone use Drano. This will create a smoke like reaction that's gently blown using tubing into the ether from the seed jar, usually inside a gallon baggie. When the smoke hits the ether, your end product will fall like snow or snot to settle at the bottom of the baggie. When it stops reacting, drain off the excess ether, let it dry, and get high. The drained ether is saved for seconds and hit again with new salt. Now, if you look up at the top left of this photo, you will see some tubing. Okay, so at the top left there, you got some tubing. It's wrapped around one of the trees or the branches. You got your blow off 2 liter jugs there and the bucket. So let me show you, now that I've read that to you, let me see if I can just show you so you can screenshot it if you so choose. Let me get it here. Let's see. I can pull this up. All right, let's see. Okay, perhaps my effort did not work to get this up on the screen. Oh, here it is. Okay. Okay, it appears I'm going to have to take in a moment. Trust me, it's worth it because you'll want it. Here we go. Okay, once again, you can stir in the plastic bucket. When you say pot, that implies a metal container which is not used in stirring. Those 2 liter bottles are blow off jugs. Okay. It's gently blown using tubing, either from the seed jar, usually inside from the seed jar, usually inside a gallon baggie. When the smoke hits the ether, your end product will fall like snow or snot, settle at the bottom. So let's look again. Okay, keep this in mind. And that's your setup right there. That's your setup. Okay, and remember, this is a zoom in of this photo right here. So let me give you the whole thing. Okay, so these photos were taken just days. These photos are from, I believe, February 17. Let's see. Um, February 21st, 2017. Now, like I'm saying, I believe that these photos were taken by law enforcement on a tripod with everything perfectly staged for compositional effect. If you look at, notice this one here with the bones, how everything is perfectly staged here for compositional effect. Anyhow, uh, let me take a look at the chat now. Okay, let's take a look at the chat. Welcome to everyone who has come in. Welcome to everyone who has come in who I have not said hello to. Photos were encoded by Adobe on February 21st, 2017. Welcome in, Adrian. Yes, the cut branch was sawed, but who knows if it was found that way or prepared. Okay. How far from the shack to where the girls were found? Well, welcome in, and Michael, and that is unknown at this time because we have not located the precise location of that. There are two contending locations. Well, there are more than two because there's been an extreme amount of disinformation interjected or inserted around these photos. Um, I'm not even going to go through all of the various disinformation strands regarding these photos, but my belief is this was near the Wilson Bridge. Uh, However, there's another line of reasoning. Some people think that it was nearer the High Bridge on the opposite side at the confluence of the other little creek, uh, which I think might be called Bridge Creek. Um, Welcome in, Deanna Burdette. Welcome in, Diamond Eyes. I see you guys coming in. Yeah, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Um, yes. Oh, good point, ACB. Yes, Eric Williams. Okay, described something very similar to this, didn't he? Didn't he? I posted the receipts for that. He described something very similar to this, and he described it as being approximately 1,000 yards from the bridge and further back, which to me, if you do the measurements with a measurement tool, you will find that that is 2/3 of the way to Wilson Bridge. Okay. And remember, uh, Carrie did say she thought they were cooking drugs out there in the woods that day. Uh, More towards the Weber and Albo property, says Four Pits. Yes, bones hanging in trees, he said. Welcome in, Danielle, and thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Thank you for becoming a channel member. We appreciate that. Okay. The meth cooking area is located between the highway and Bridge Creek. Yes, that's where Frenchie believes, and not only Frenchie, there are others who believe that this particular area was down that way towards that confluence of Bridge Creek and Deer Creek. Okay. Down the creek in the water. Allegedly, that's what some think. Okay. All right. Frenchie believes the girls were killed at Jack Gish's property, which is a little bit past the High Bridge over towards the next bridge. I'm sorry. I believe we're talking about Wilson Bridge. Frenchie believes it's at Jack Gish's, which is another hike to that next bridge, okay, past Wilson. So we got High Bridge, Wilson Bridge, then that third bridge. That's Frenchie's conclusion there. Okay. All right. But here's the deal, guy. Here's the deal. Okay. Doesn't matter. Okay, doesn't matter at this point in the argument, right? Doesn't matter where that was. Uh, what we're saying here, this describes what Eric Williams described. It's approximately in the location as far as Eric Williams described it. Okay. A setup for doing exactly what Kerry Williams and Eric Williams alleged, that they were cooking meth out there. Well, what do you think these are? I mean, Once again, what is this? Okay. And what is this? All right. We're seeing what is described by Eric Williams and Carrie Timmons, among others. Odinists don't do their human sacrifices out in the open. They have their altars and candles. Louise, welcome in. Louise says, what happened and what was investigated in the area are two different things. Tobe said they were not aware of the totality of the crime. I remember cooks would chant when they used the whip. Welcome in, Sandy. Welcome in, Sandy. Bodies could be moved by boat. They could also be moved by a truck. I've said before that in the location I think we were talking about here, it's very easy to drive down into those woods with a pickup truck. Frenchie says, Westfall and Messer were tasked with approval and planning of others. They turned a hit job into a ritual to satisfy their desires to elevate from animal torture sacrifice. Makes all the sense in the world to me. Okay. No one knows, Lambert Code. This is all hypothetical. This is all hypothetical discussion. If you read my channel description, I believe it was Wilson Bridge. Okay, Fort Pitt says Mike Thomas was well aware of all of this shit. Allegedly. Okay. So also sounds plausible to me, ACB. I think there was a message concerning where the crime took place. The hut was the perfect place for the photo op, maybe to tell Derek something. I think there's a reason. Yeah, I think there's a clear reason for the photo op and a clear reason for it to be done by law enforcement. And sending a message would be the reason. Now, who is a message to? Well, I don't know. Jack gets a shed, houseboats, creekside. Abby was dumped into a kayak and Libby was floated alongside. She was too heavy to place in the kayak. Wet and naked body. Hey, well, let's take a look at something. And then we'll take a listen to something. This is totally off the cuff. I'm not prepared, so please forgive me. Please forgive me for not being prepared. But Frenchie's triggering a memory here. Okay, so let me get to it, Frenchie. Let's see if I can whip this up for you real quick. Let's see. I mean, this will not be the best. It will not be the best. Okay. Let me remove this. Well, I'll leave it. Is this what you're talking about, Frenchie? That is Jack Gish's shed and property there. Okay, that is Jack Gish's. So possibly this is what French is referring to. Okay. Sorry, it's going to take me a second to catch up with the chat here. All right. You still... I think where the bodies were found was more like... We're not talking about where the bodies were found. I'm talking about where this location of the shack was. I think they were killed near Wilson Bridge, is my opinion. And I am allowed to have that opinion. And I think they were moved after that. And yes, it's possible that maybe one of them was not. I don't know. But yeah, you're talking about something different here. Where they were left was 1,200 feet from the bridge. Yes. Okay. Okay, you said BC. You're talking to Diamond. Speaking of that, because I've also heard that Garrett Kurtz was living out there in the woods. But speaking of that, let me play something extremely important for you before I forget. Good night, Frenchie. Frenchie, why don't you, Frenchie, got 1 minute? See if I can pull this up within 1 minute for you, Frenchie. All right, let's see. Okay. Let me pull this up. I'll just play it for the microphone here. Okay, you guys listening? All right, let's pull it up.
More than 4,000 calls and emails registered to the national tip line. Inside Edition flew a drone above the crime scene. It shows the trestle bridge where the girls were confronted by the killer. Look at the vast expanse of land without a human in sight. Police believe the killer or killers may even have been camping in these woods. You can see how...
Oh, you want to hear that once more? Once more, possibly?
It shows the trestle bridge where the girls were confronted by the killer. Look at the vast expanse of land without a human in sight. Police believe the killer or killers may even have been camping in these woods.
This is from February 24th, 2017. One more time. Inside Edition from February 24th, 2017.
Confronted by the killer. Look at the vast expanse of land without a human in sight. Police believe the killer or killers may even have been camping in these woods. You can see how isolated the area is.
Question. Police believe the killer or killers may have been camping in these woods. Could you camp in here? I mean, let's take a look. Could you possibly camp in here? I mean, remember what I said. When there was a tarp over it, and when there were more pallets around the edges and the door. All right. What's up, Freckle Joy? Welcome in. All right. What's up, Just James? Just James. Welcome in. Everyone, welcome in who's coming in. All right. So, oh, wow, Sandy. Yes. Interesting you mentioned that. Interesting you mentioned that. Oh, looks like I've caught up. Look like I've caught up. Look like I've caught up with the chat here. All right. Well, hey, that's what I had to say to you tonight. Primarily that, let me remove this. Primarily that this disclosure today really blows the mind, doesn't it? Imagine that the pinging is happening every 15 minutes, like clockwork. That phone goes off in the 5 o'clock hour on the 13th. It stops pinging. We know that the alleged searchers are sent home, but what happens at the point that the public is sent home? What happens at the point that the public is sent home? Certain individuals remain. Certain individuals remain. Those certain individuals remain all night until morning. So if someone physically had to turn that phone back on at 4:30 a.m., 4:30 a.m. on the 14th, after they sent the public home and the inner group of volunteer firemen family stayed all night, Eric Williams did not find those bodies. The phone was turned off. 5 o'clock hour. What? Let's look at the. Okay, let's not fuck around here. Let me do this. Okay, I'm going to. Let me pull this up. Let me pull this up for you. Let's pull it up. All right. Oh, here we go. Okay. There we go. Look. 5:44 p.m. 5:44 p.m. The phone is turned off. 5:44 p.m. Who's there? Who's there at 5:44 p.m.? Question here. Everyone, put your ears on and look up from the chat for a moment. Approximately 5:44 p.m. on the 13th. Who's at the trails? Who is at the trails at approximately 5:44 p.m.? Ah. Who's at the trails at 5:44 p.m. when that phone is turned off? Thank you, Meow. Thank you. Thank you, Meow Meow. Kayla, Precascent, Caitlin. Who turns that phone off at 5:44 p.m.? Okay, and then look at this document here. All right, look at this document. Who turns the phone on at 4:30 a.m.? Well, question. When everyone's sent home because it's too scary for grown men, because it's dark outside and there are hills, who stays? Who stays all through the night until sunrise? Who stays? I mean, wouldn't logic dictate that whoever stays turns the phone on at 4:30 a.m.? Whoever turns the phone on at 4:30 a.m. has to be someone who's there at 4:30 a.m. Like I said, I've always adhered very closely to the words of Eric Williams. And Eric Williams said, "A country boy." Well, let's see if I can read it verbatim so I don't misquote Mr. Eric Williams, because never would I want to misquote anyone surrounding the murders of two baby girls. Okay, let's try to quote Mr. Williams. Uh-oh, what just happened? God damn. Okay. All right, let's see. See if I can quote him for you. I didn't say it would be fast, but I said I would try. And I'm going to try. Okay. And I'm failing. I am failing, but here we go. He basically says, so I will probably misquote him, that he's a country boy. He basically says he's a country boy and he's here to tell you them girls were not there. I mean, the key term here is country boy. He says, I'm here to tell you I'm a country boy and them girls were not there. He also says it's a cover up. It was the girls walking in on a meth lab. Being ran by the local cops and criminal informants. One of them snapped and shit went crazy. He also said, where is it? Like I said, this is on the fly, so I'm totally failing you guys right now. But I'll post all of this. I've already posted it before. I'll post it again so that you have it. But he said all these cops from this area are corrupt and deserve nothing but total reformation and prison time with the ones they put in. I can tell you this, I believe it was an inside job. None of this is surprising. I've been calling out the officials of Carroll County for some time. There's a lot of corruption going on in Carroll County. Okay. And then he said, this next one is, tell you what, I'm going to read this next one because it's, this next one is really important here if I can dig it up. I'm not prepared with these because I didn't know I'd be getting into this. I thought I'd keep it short and sweet. Okay, he said, I walked them woods, and what I seen was horrifying piles of animal bones. Okay, now think about what he's saying. What I seen was horrifying piles of animal bones. Multiple types of animals, deer heads hanging in multiple trees. This crime was practiced on animals and led to human life. All the evidence is or was there. I pointed it out to the police at their search party, but none seemed concerned. There was quad tracks leading away from the bridge to a farmhouse. Again, officials seem to not care. Then they have audio and DNA but can't catch him. They know who he is and refuse to charge him for the fact that it will ruin a family name that has something in Carroll County. Power, status, maybe he says status. Then I have another screenshot that says, look at this one, okay? Look at this one. There were dozens of various bones hanging from trees in at least 100-foot radius of the hut. Eric said he did not take these photos, by the way. Because that's a rumor we're going to put to rest. We're going to put to rest. Eric said he did not take these photos. Okay? All right? Sorry I left that comment up for so long. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Yeah, trolls do live under the bridge, right? That's why we have a troll farm who protects this bridge narrative at all cost. Okay. All right, welcome in, Diamond Eyes. Diamond Eyes. Noe, welcome in, Noe. Saying hello to Diamond. All right. Blaine was married to living with Ashley Garth. All right, let's see what else we got here before we get out of here. is a God thing. Welcome in. You are late, but we're ending soon anyway. It's a really brief show tonight. I just wanted to pop on and comment upon this 4:33 a.m. turning the phone on before placing it under the body of Abigail Williams. ATVs, canoe, or boat. They moved the bodies. Now, how far were they moved? And remember, Robert Ives, in the very first days, said, "What? This is a crime you would be able to solve in the old days." There were multiple signatures, non-secular, a part. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, who was there in the 5 o'clock hour to turn that phone off? Who was there in the 4 a.m. hour to turn the phone on? Oh, thank you guys. I hate to cough or sneeze on the screen, and I couldn't help it. It came onto me quick. I didn't have enough sensory warning to know it was going to happen. But thank you. All right, Sandy. Thank you, Sandy. Sandy, you're just a blessing in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Pink Poppy. All right. Mike said in an interview that he and Becky weren't on the trails very long looking that night. They spent most of their time running around town. Well, Nicole Robertson said that the girls arrived at 300 North and 575 West on the trails near that intersection at approximately 1 p.m. Well, that's a whole different side of the creek. And it's a whole different time, isn't it? That's not near 2. That's not approximately 2. That's not approximately 1:50. That's not approximately 1:45. That's approximately 1 p.m. All right. Welcome in, Jaded Empath. Just give me a moment to sneeze again. Anyhow, here's the link. If you want to jump on to the to be a guest, if you want to jump on and talk, please hit the link. It'll bring you on in. I want to see who you are, and then you could talk. Okay. Why or when did Cheyenne leave the trails and come back? You can't believe anything she says whatsoever. And we'll be getting into that. I'm working on something for you guys that it's incredible the amount of work. I had planned on something totally different tonight until this popped up. And it's a good thing because I still need some more preparation for it. Yeah, I'm working on something here. No, I'm not finding that. I'm still looking for the Eric Williams Country Boy quote because I would love to get it right for you, but I haven't found it. So, okay, so that's what we got. That's what we got. But I think we got. This is why I called it a throwback tonight. Throwback. Because if you were around here in the first 25, 35 shows, which has been a year ago now, you may remember that I focused a lot on this. Okay, I focused a lot. I focused on these images. I focused on the group of people who we have always heard are witnesses. Cheyenne, Shelby, the whole crew who were out there. Who were out there? Who were out there? Let me see who I need to say hi to because I know I missed it. Sabina. Sabina, thank you for becoming a member. I saw you click on earlier and it escaped me. Thank you, Sabina, for becoming a member of the channel. I really appreciate that. I appreciate everyone. We have all of our pathways for supporting the channel. You know where they are. They're in the About Me section of the YouTube page. I don't think I saw your message today. No, I did not. Not yet. I'm going to go look for message. I didn't go into Discord today. I'll go look for it. Kathy is here. Welcome, Kathy. Okay. I keep hearing the interview that goes both sides of the creek bank. Sabina's a doll. She's quiet, not like me, blah, 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 he, he. I will check. I'll check the messages. Caitlin says, what about the comment car woman saying she seen that car? I wonder if it's been able to link to an individual now that we have hired people. We know hired people were there also. Kind of seems like the little stuff might make sense. Yeah, what about the comment? Here's my opinion. My opinion on the comment is that no way in hell. No way. Absolutely. You tell me. Let's do this. Let's do this. We'll make it easy. Let's make it easy for everyone. And this will be on the fly again. We'll do it on the fly. Never hurts, right? It's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt. Let's see. So let's say something like this. Okay, I want you to look at this. See? 1965 Mercury comet. Look at that. Oof. Kind of sexy, right? A little bit. Look at that. One moment, please. All right. Now let's look at this one. This should be easy. Should be easy to do, right? Should be easy. It's not the hardest thing in the world. Now, are you serious? Okay, are we serious? Let me get that better in the frame. Okay. That car. Are you telling me? Are you telling me this car? Are you telling me that car is supposed to be this car? Hold on. Like I said, I'm not perfectly ready, but I mean, you're telling me that car is supposed to be this car. No chance. No chance. Not even the most goofy non-car person. No chance. Mm-mm. It ain't gonna work. that's 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 what I'm saying. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. No one mistakes those two cars. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, maybe a blind man. Hey, welcome in on Mandy. What's up, Mandy? No one mistakes a classic car for anything modern. Not, I mean, what? Unless, I mean, what was that witness smoking? What was that? What was that witness smoking? I mean, we're on acid trip, and there was something about a 1965 comet that you're tripping. You're projecting an image of a 1965 comet onto that Ford Focus. All right. These witnesses for the state are screwed. Yeah, especially if your father had a comet when you were a kid. Yeah, yeah. I mean, your father had a comet, even if it's not exactly a comet. If it's something that like would confuse you, are there cars that are similar? Yes. Is a Ford Focus similar to a comet that's a vintage 1960s comet? Got a pics of Mike's classic car? Yeah, we've all seen that. We've seen that around. It's much more. It's much more. You'd be much more likely to confuse that one, wouldn't you? Yeah, the color. All right. Anyhow, you guys, happy Tuesday to you. Happy Tuesday to you all. Yeah, and just like, I mean, just like the 1965 comet, there's no way on Earth you would ever confuse a PT Cruiser. I mean, PT Cruiser is one of the most distinctive looking cars, right? PT Cruiser, especially a purple one. Okay, let's see. It's a very distinctive looking vehicle. You don't confuse them. But yeah, I'm not gonna have to show you. You guys get it. I'm sick and tired of showing you. Uh, I mean, the stuff to argue these points. It's like it's intentionally, it's disinformation. It's distractions. Yeah. So the question is, who had purple PT Cruisers? Okay. Trying to look for diamond eyes. She was smoking pot. I mean, that pot has to be laced with some serious shit to confuse a 1965 Comet like vehicle with Richard Allen's car. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. I just don't see it ever happening. Welcome in, Simone. Welcome in, Mandy. I said hi. Okay. Hey, what's up, Scott? Scott coming in. Welcome to you, Scott. Welcome. I mean, do we have to state the obvious that shit like this right here makes sense? I mean, and like I said, I'm not gonna read this, but let me just read the first part because I've been reiterating this. Pardon me. I've been reiterating this fact in how with nearly every motion, okay, pay attention, with nearly every motion, the defense has incorporated the 136 pages. Remember, I've been hitting on that and I've been reminding you that with nearly every motion, the 136 pages are brought into nearly every motion. It's like they keep bringing that 136 pages back. So look at this one. Point number one. On September 18th, 2023, Mr. Allen, by counsel, filed his first Frank's notice, hereinafter Frank's 1, which included a 136-page memorandum in support of the notice. Okay, which details the following. Certain evidence that Carroll County Sheriff Tony Liggett failed to include in his search warrant application for the residence of Richard Allen under cause number blah, 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 search warrant. Certain evidence that was detailed in the search warrant applicated for the search warrant that was false. Evidence that law enforcement had acted in an intentional manner on multiple instances attempting to conceal evidence from the defense and failing to tell the truth under oath concerning certain evidence. Mr. Allen, by counsel, here we go, incorporates his first Frank's notice and memorandum filed on September 18th, 2023, as if fully outlined herein. Okay? 136 pages in. Mr. Allen, by counsel, on October 3rd, filed his second Frank's notice, hereinafter Frank's 2, detailing how prosecution and law enforcement attempted to conceal the identity of Purdue professor Jeffrey Turco, whose testimony contradicted that of law enforcement officers Tony Liggett and Jerry Holman of ISP. This notice was provided as a supplement to the first Frank's notice in order to bolster the defense contention that the state of Indiana and law enforcement were acting intentionally and with reckless disregard of the truth to further support the request for Frank's hearing. Mr. Allen, by counsel, incorporates his second Frank's as if fully set out herein. On March 13, Allen, by counsel, filed his third Frank's notice, hereinafter Frank's 3. Based on evidence recently provided by the prosecution, Frank's 3 detailed the following information omitted from the search warrant. At least 3 persons were in or around the crime scene at the time of the murders, allegedly that the murders were allegedly taking place, and none of the owners of the phones had any connection to Richard Allen. So says geofencing, and so says Allen. Purdue professor Jeffrey Turco wrote in a report provided to Unified Command that the markings this constitute an inscription inspired by Norse runes or modern recreations thereof, and that is quite plausible. Mr. Allen, by counsel, incorporates his third Frank's motion in as if fully set out herein. Okay, so what are we saying here? All of these Frank's motions stack up together into one huge Frank's motion, now called Frank's 4. You get it? As if fully set out, including the 136-page memorandum. So it's a lot of Frankies. All right. Anyhow, that's all I got to say about that, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got to say about that. I am pretty much ready to get off here. I think that they were smoking spice along with meth. That's what Garrett Kurtz said. Yep. And I believe that's why he's possibly involved in this scenario that took place at some place that could be this place. It's my opinion, he might have been living in this place that you are looking at on the screen. And please, I guess one more time, I would just like to reiterate for those who are just walking in, okay, for those who are just walking in, like I said, the more facts come, the more facts come, the more we are proven right, okay? But just listen to this again, just because this one right here, I mean, Pardon me?
That could lead them to a potential suspect. The general public's doing their part too, with more than 4,000 calls and emails registered to the national tip line. Inside Edition flew a drone above the crime scene. It shows the trestle bridge where the girls were confronted by the killer. Look at the vast expanse of land without a human in sight. Police believe the killer or killers may even have been camping in these woods.
February 24th, 2017. So, you guys, if I lost my keys or handcuffs where a murder happened, I'd gather all my friends and every metal detector I could to get a hold of and get my ass in those woods. All right, so cheers, guys. Cheers, guys. What's up, Shay Watson? You made it incredibly, respectfully, fashionably late. Okay. Anyway. Habitually late. Habitually, fashionably late. Well, good job. You're doing a great job. Yeah. Well, hey, it was good to see you guys. I will be back. We have something concerning we're working on here. But it takes a lot. Please, everyone, remember to hit the like for Prof. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Please hit the like. There were more documents. Okay. Wow. Okay, got a notice. There were more documents, but I don't feel the need to really go through them tonight. I wanted to really laser focus on this time frame. Okay. Remember this time frame. But as a matter of fact, before I let us go, I want us to really drill into this time frame here. Okay. 5:44 p.m. approximately 5:44 p.m. It appears that the phone goes off. As I said earlier, who's there at 5:44 p.m.? Who's in the woods along Deer Creek at 5:44 p.m.? Who's in the woods along Deer Creek at 4:30 a.m.? Who's in the woods along Deer Creek at 4:30 a.m. to turn the phone on? Another question, did the same person or persons turn the phone off at 5:44 along the woods at Deer Creek, and did the same person turn the phone on at 4:33 a.m. or approximately thereabout the next morning? I think we got a lot to think about overnight. I would not have thought that the fourth Franks would possibly be the greatest Franks. Yeah. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching and for hitting that like. Please hit the like. Remember also, when you leave comments, hitting the like and all of this stuff, it pushes the stream on the replay to more folks. So please do what you want to do regarding that, and I would appreciate it. And yeah, hey, incredible disclosure here. And with every disclosure, we get closer and closer and closer. And this one right here, the more facts come, the more we are right. And it's bringing us right back to the beginning. That's why I called it throwback. Right back to the beginning. Right back to what we've been saying and others have been saying. Yep, digital. Yep. Good night, all. I see the nice comments there. Good night, meow, meow. Sandy. All right. Daisy Dukes anytime, anywhere says sweet dude Shibby. Well, sure. As soon as I shut this down, the replay will be available for you. So enjoy the replay. If you're just coming in, yeah, I love you all for coming in, and you could go be doing anything else at any other moment other than watching. So I appreciate you. Yeah, Ellen says just start it over. Thank you, Ellen, and thank you, everyone. I'm out of here. It's late and I'm tired, so good night to you.